Greetings from Denver, Colorado. My name is Jonathan Moyer, and I've spent the past 3 months working with an outstanding team of researchers here at the University of Denver exploring development in Uganda. We were tasked with putting together a document that evaluates policy choices in Uganda over the long term. Our job was to look across development systems, find points of leverage within each system, and forecast the effects of interventions on those points of leverage across a range of outcome indicators. Our policy interventions generally span a 5-year time horizon between 2016 and 2021, the time horizon of the next USAID CDCS report. But we explore the effects of these interventions through to 2040. We use the International Futures Modeling Platform, also referred to as IFS, to analyze long-term, country-specific, regional, national, and global futures. IFS integrates forecasts across dynamically connected submodules, for example, agriculture, demographics, health, economics, education, energy, infrastructure, governance, and technology, in order to simulate how changes in one system lead to changes across all other systems. IFS leverages historical data, identifies trends, and models dynamic relationships to forecast hundreds of variables for 186 countries from the year 2010 to 2100. The home of IFS is the Frederick Pardee Center for International Futures at the Joseph Corbell School of International Studies at the University of Denver. Visit our website to download this free and open source tool at pardee.du.edu. Vision 2040 is a Ugandan government vision that endeavors to put the country on the path to upper middle income status by 2040. Our current path scenario forecasts that Ugandan GDP per capita at market exchange rates will reach $2,100 per capita by 2040, and that life expectancy will not exceed 69 years. Most importantly, the current path scenario forecasts that Uganda's population will rise to nearly 77 million by 2040. Our analysis recommends that Uganda's development strategy prioritize investments in basic human development and government quality and capacity to improve economic resilience as the fastest growth pathway to middle income status. Pursuing an integrated human development plan now will better prepare the country to face issues associated with the middle income trap in the future. Specifically, over the next 5 years, human development investments should focus on family planning, making sure children at the primary education level complete their education, improving safe water and sanitation, and extending agricultural production to reduce crop loss. Uganda needs to improve family planning to lower fertility rates. With the third fastest growing population in Africa, it is poised to double its population and more than triple its urban population before 2040. This rapidly growing population reduces the impact of every other set of policies aimed to improve human capabilities. Uganda also needs to increase primary education survival. Primary net enrollment rates are high, but the percentage of students who enter and complete their education, also known as survival rates, is very low. This creates a bottleneck between primary and secondary school. Eliminating this bottleneck will significantly improve education outcomes and will have positive spillover effects across other development sectors. Authorities should invest in access to safe water and sanitation as well. Reductions in communicable disease rates have been significant and should be celebrated. However, very high levels of childhood malnutrition and stunting have long-term consequences. Investing in water and sanitation can help reduce this burden. Uganda must also enhance agricultural production, reduce crop loss, and increase land under cultivation. Rapid population growth is driving an increase in food imports for caloric consumption. We forecast that, if nothing is done, food imports for caloric consumption will grow from 10% today to 40% by 2040. This food security situation should be addressed by promoting improvements in yield, storage, and the transport of food. The government should also create a strategic grain reserve as a buffer from global food price shocks. Uganda must improve governance, transparency, and accountability. This is crucial for determining whether Uganda moves forward on a long-term sustainable development path. Poor government transparency, coupled with opaque oil management, could drive social instability. Simultaneously, Uganda should improve governance quality and capacity and enact policies that promote economic resilience. Authorities must also work to reduce the size of the informal economy. Currently, nearly 65% of labor is employed in the informal sector. Programs should be implemented to reduce informal labor and expand the tax base. This will also mitigate against challenges associated with forecast declines in government revenue as a share of GDP that are partially driven by forecast declines in foreign aid donations as a share of GDP. The government also needs to carefully manage the production of oil. It is highly unlikely that significant oil production will occur over the next 5 years. The government may wish to temper high expectations about the transformative nature of oil production for the Ugandan society. An increase in manufacturing should also be promoted. High population growth means that millions will enter the labor force over the next 5 years. A thriving industrial sector can provide relatively high value-add jobs and enhance Uganda's economic production profile. Finally, Uganda should increase trade involvement with the East African community. The EAC Free Trade Zone reduces transport costs and improves export opportunities. If Uganda pursues any one of these policies alone, it will see significant improvements in poverty reduction and increases in economic output per capita. But if it pursues the integrated political, economic, and human development plan that we're proposing, it should see even more improvement in extreme poverty reduction and increases in economic output. This graph shows the relative impact of pursuing different policy choices compared with the current path of Ugandan development. The bubble size represents the increase in GDP of pursuing each policy choice relative to the current path. The horizontal axis measures the impact of increasing GDP per capita of pursuing these policies. The vertical axis measures the percentage point reduction in extreme poverty that these policy choices are likely to cause. So, improving transparency and reducing corruption, the dark blue bubble at the bottom of the graph, has a significant impact on increasing GDP per capita and increasing the overall size of the economy, but little impact on reducing extreme poverty. On the other hand, the large gray bubble in the middle on the left represents a strong push on agriculture, which significantly reduces extreme poverty, grows the overall economy, but has a less significant impact on increasing GDP per capita, as does reducing corruption. The blue bubble in the top on the right represents a scenario where each of the policy issues that we have addressed are pushed on simultaneously. While there are trade-offs, we believe that if policies are appropriately prioritized, compared with the current development path, that the Ugandan economy could be 25% larger, that extreme poverty could be as low as 6%, and that the GDP per capita of the country could top $3,000 by 2040. While lower than the Vision 2040 goal of $9,500 per capita, this improved development trajectory would place Uganda on a positive pathway to sustainable prosperity and development. Please read the report. It contains much more information on our policy recommendations and much more background research that support our arguments. Do not hesitate to contact us with questions or comments. And thank you very much for your time.